late, the term black-on-black violence has gained a new resurgence as the Black Lives Matter movement has emerged. The question posed by some is this: do black people really believe Black Lives Matter? An answer in the negative points at some tragic statistics. Multiple stats conclude 93% of murdered African Americans per year are killed by other African Americans, and only a small percentage of blacks comparably are killed by police. Stats go on to show that African American men commit more violent crime than men of any other race. One statistic conveniently tossed around, though inaccurate, is that America has the third highest murder rate on the planet. If you take off Chicago, Washington, D.C., Detroit, and New Orleans, the U.S. becomes fourth from the bottom, which to some proves murder in the nation is the problem of black ghettos, and that violent blacks and their criminal ways are the root cause for the homicide rate in the country. And overall, black lives don't matter to those who should value them most, because the numbers show most blacks are killed by those who look just like them. With such conclusive data, shouldn't we rightfully label anyone claiming Black Lives Matter as a hypocrite, due to them ignoring the basic facts on what blacks themselves are currently doing to each other? What these numbers hide is the role poverty and unemployment play in violent crime. When controlled for joblessness, the violent crime rate is similar across racial lines. The U.S. Department of Justice documented that half of all prison inmates had an income of less than $600 a month during the month before their arrest. Research has also found that falling wages and rising unemployment increased the crime rate in men without a college education. The color of the person did not matter. When these conditions are concentrated in a disadvantaged neighborhood, which means more than just low income, but also includes a lack of retail or grocery stores, low education level of the residents, failing schools, little to no recreational facilities, inadequate housing, and more, crime rises. So-called black-on-black crime is not some special moral defect of a specific people group. All races mainly kill each other at a near identical rate. They just don't garner a special label. People do whatever they do in their own neighborhood, among those they know, for better or worse. There are social and economic conditions that foment the likelihood of violence and criminal activity, and it has always been so, from ancient Rome, where it was advised to not walk the streets at night without an armed guard, to Paris during the reigns of Louis XV and XVI, where starving men and women descended into thievery because the cost of bread skyrocketed, to the slums of Victorian London and the avenues of the Lower East Side in Manhattan throughout the first decades of the 20th century. Urban neighborhoods made dangerous due to economic strife is nothing new, nor is it unique to any people group. Is this an excuse for murder? No, it is an invitation to recognize the real-life consequences of allowing entire sectors of our cities and residential areas to languish with few job opportunities, little city investment, and criminal government neglect. Don't allow ignorance or determination to demonize whole communities to cause you to shun over a century and a half of sociological research. So, do black people care about black lives? Is this even a real question? Who doesn't love their family? What mother doesn't grieve over a dead child? What son or daughter isn't distraught over a murdered sibling or parent? What teenager is ambivalent about the death of a friend? To question whether a people care about their loved ones or the condition of their neighborhood is to doubt whether they have basic human emotions. To suggest black or brown people don't care about violence in their community is to cast them in a different light than the rest of the human family. Everyone wants to be able to go outside and feel safe. Tragedy hurts us all. There are some who say African Americans aren't angered unless it's a white cop doing the killing. As insulting and degrading as that is, it is also factually incorrect. There have been protests in Chicago, Gary, Saginaw, Newark, Pittsburgh, New York, and other cities over the continued violence in the streets. It may not have made national news, but not knowing about it and not being a part of it doesn't mean the public outrage isn't there. There are countless organizations, outreach programs, mentors, teachers, preachers, local politicians, and community organizers who have dedicated their lives to the uplift of disadvantaged neighborhoods, who work full-time all the time, not only when a white cop kills someone. Why is it that when someone attests Black Lives Matter, crime rates are brought up. Does the presence of criminality make life any less valuable? There are over 41 million black people in America. All aren't criminals, drug dealers, or murderers. Are the millions upon millions of law-abiding citizens banned from speaking up about how they're unfairly treated by law enforcement? Can we not advocate for ourselves? Is the fact that crime exists a reason not to speak about injustice from the state? When police murder in cold blood, should they not be accountable for it to the same degree anyone else would be? Or should they be given special consideration because other people kill too? That is to lower the police force to the status of a criminal organization, but the standard ought to be higher and false parallels avoided. There is no benefit in being silent about injustice, nor should anyone be ashamed for speaking against state-sponsored murder. There's much work to be done on multiple fronts, but pointing to statistics on crime while ignoring their correlation with economic realities, being willfully ignorant of the scholarship and research on the subject, diluting the sentiment that Black Lives Matter by refusing to examine the specific grievances and their causes with a shrug and saying, well, all lives matter, will not bring a solution to the problems we're facing. Perfection is not a prerequisite for justice, and victim blaming is a trait of an abuser. It's time to do better.